So, even though the summer transfer window is far away from here, we have seen a lot of links and a lot of talk as far as incomings potentially and outgoings. And basically, we will talk about the outgoings maybe in another video. But right now, guys, I want to talk about some players that have been linked to the club. And one of the players that have been linked recently is this young Egyptian kid, this unknown Egyptian kid that I know a lot of you guys don't know about. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, we are here to talk about this youngster. And to help me talk about this kid, we have man like Barca Volume in the building. What's going on?
Not much, man. How are you, man? It's been good times, man. Right now we have we're 4 points away. We're 4 points clear. All we gotta do, take care of business and sit and wait, bro. Take
That's
care
the
of
thing.
business, sit and wait.
Just at the end of the day, I said this. I think after the game against I think Real Madrid, after we lost that game, I said,
Yeah,
listen, at this point, all we can do is just focus on ourselves. Forget about Madrid. Forget about
yeah,
they're doing.
yeah.
Just focus on you. Try to go on a streak of wins and just do your thing and just sit in the corner.
Yeah.
That is,
Basi-
everything works out for itself. And that's what we've been doing ever since then. All we've been doing is just been quietly doing our job. And Madrid have been doing their job bottling games. So here we are. And I feel
Yeah.
like we just need to continue with that formula. But let's talk about some of the links, right? Because you've seen recently, we've seen some defenders being linked. We've seen a lot of attackers being linked. Obviously, the big talk throughout this whole season has been Lewandowski, right? Is this his last year? Could this be his last year? And this talk has been who is going to replace Lewandowski if this is potentially his last year, right? And there's been a lot of names being thrown out. We know Alvarez is like the biggest one that has been called out, right? Some people have, there's been a lot of dream of players like Haaland, which I think that's a big stretch, right? We've seen Harry Kane is another one that's been linked to the club, right? His contract is going to be running out, I think, this season after, right? So I think he's got like a year left on his deal after next season. So there's been some links there. And also Gorasi from Dortmund. He's another one that's been a name that who are kind of just thrown in there. But recently, Pastor Vanya, there has been a player who has been gotten a lot of attention. And a lot of people don't know who this player is, right? None of us really know much about him, but we've been seeing him been linked to Barca recently. And
Yeah.
that is this youngster named Hamza Abdul Karim, right? He's an Egyptian youngster, right? He's 17 years old, right? Broke into the scene earlier this year in the under 17 AFCON, right? He was absolutely incredible over there. And he does play for Ahly in Egypt, which is considered like the best team in Africa, right?
Is
He's
he going?
actually
Is he
not.
going? Is he go? Sorry to interrupt. Is he going to play the cup, the Sala
AFCON?
and all this?
Oh yeah, the AFCON.
Yeah.
Now I don't know yet. I haven't seen the squad yet. But what I do know for sure is he's very highly rated over there in the country, right? And basically, he's actually, and this is the I don't think he will be part of the squad because he's definitely not even made. I don't think he's even made his debut for the league for his club yet,
Mm.
right? But if
Yeah.
you look at his record, right, for the Egyptian youth setups, it's incredible, right? He scored like 19 goals. I'm sorry, no, he scored 12 goals in 19 games, right?
Okay.
And many people who have been kind of talking to about him, who have watched him, and to be fair, I did watch the under 17, AFCON under 17, right? Because I usually watch these African youth tournaments usually because Gambia usually participating in those. So I did watch a little bit of Egypt, and I'll tell you right now, Miguel, right? The best player I could compare this kid to, right, out of all the like top players I've seen, he's very similar to a Zlatan. You understand what I mean, right? He's got the height in him. He's very good on the air. His shooting is actually incredible, right? Like for a 17-year-old, right? His accuracy is incredible, right? He's very fast. Like his speed is incredible, right? He's very, very fast. He's and also and and physically, he's not a player that can be physically bullied easily. Like I've seen in the tournament how a lot of defenders were struggling against him, right? To get him off the ball, right? Um
Yeah, because Zlatan wasn't that fast.
Yeah, he
Because
was
Zlatan
exactly, but
wasn't.
this he has that like technique about him, like that imposing like presence that he had on the ball, right? He was
Hmm.
he like Zlatan was a player who, for his height, the things he used to do for his height was incredible. And I think when it comes to this kid, he shows me a little bit of flashes of Zlatan here and there, right? Except he has space, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, like I mentioned, he's very good on the air. Physically, he cannot be bullied off the ball, right? Right. And I do know that the club are very interested. Now, I do know for sure, right? And this is the biggest one that I do know. Apparently, we actually did make a bid for the kid, right? We already made a bid and it was already rejected, right? It's related to Barca University, if I'm confirmed it here. They said that we bid a they rejected a 5 million euro deal from us, right? So clearly, we're actually very serious about this kid right now. I know you haven't did a lot of digging on him, but
Yeah.
what do you think of Barcelona going for players like this? Players like this who do have the potential, who do have the potential to make it to the top, right? Do you think that Barcelona, should be more focused on players that are currently, could currently make an impact on the team now, or do you think this is a smart deal for the future?
No, I actually think these deals are very smart. Actually, like if you look at what happened with Rooney Bargi, for example, that was another player that was very basically, people thought he was done. Like people really like it's almost like they had the idea that this player, because he had an injury, he wasn't coming back. And
Right.
look at Barcelona now. Like right now, Rooney Bargi, by the time the season ends, we got him for so cheap. We can literally sell him for 15, 20 million euros and make a big profit out of it. Like this kid, for example, like if for example they don't accept the 5 million, but what if they accept 10 million, for example? Like what if it ends up being 10 million, which is it might be a little bit of a stretch. I don't know, maybe eight to 10. I don't know where that line will be. I honestly have to watch the kid a little bit more, but if it is like you're saying, it sounds like a good business. Like I know right now, especially with a dry market with strikers and right now what we have available, we don't even have Harry Kane. We would have to convince him.
Yep.
Otherwise, he's not a free agent. Like he's definitely not a free agent right now. We have the Victor Osimhen's of the world, but he's making upwards of 120 million euros at Galatasaray. Right now, what do we have? What do we have to work with? I mean, no, like for me it's like I like these deals because look, sometimes it's not about just having like the biggest superstars, right? It's not
Right.
just about having like the big name brands. Like we would love to have Harry Kane, we would have to convince him, but what if he doesn't want to leave Bayern Munich? Then it's good to have kids like this who are maybe in 1 or 2 years can come into the squad, and it doesn't hurt to have players like this that coming off the bench, and it just really it's good overall to have depth, right? Right now, how good it would have been if a year ago we got a kid like this, and he was just sitting on the reserve, waiting to
Yeah.
just be called up, right? And right now we don't like that. That's why these deals are very interesting and are very smart, because that's why you do this, because guess what, if it's not for this year, it'll be for next year. And like what if we would have done this 2 years ago? We would have a kid coming from La Masia to be ready to debut at the number one team.
Absolutely, I agree. And like you mentioned, right, the price, right? At the end of the day, if you look at, we've seen it happen a few times, especially at Barca, right? The amount of like youngsters that kind of have broken through this scene, right, is absolutely incredible. And I feel like when you look at Barcelona right now, the philosophy of the club is giving youngsters opportunities. You understand what I mean, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I do believe that if we sign this kid, obviously, yes, I do. I don't think he's going to go straight in the first team. I don't think so at all, right? But like you mentioned, he's not going to
Yeah,
be a player that's just going to be in the academy or the Barcelona B for 2 or 3 seasons. I can see him basically being moved to Barca B, right?
yeah.
Being taught the Barca philosophy, how we want our strikers to play. And if he performs better than anyone expected or adapts quickly, I can see him getting called up to the first team within a season,
Mhm.
because he clearly the club have a lot of interest in him, right? So basically, that's the idea. They're gonna try to come bring him in, try to make sure that he finds his footing at the club. You understand what I mean? Right? Understands
Mhm.
what Barca, how Barca strikers are supposed to move, And then once he starts performing well and scoring goals for Barca B, instantly he's going to be straight in the first team. I think if you look at it, right, remember how when we brought in Pedri from Las Palmas. Pedri was a youngster. Pedri wasn't supposed to break into the team in 2020. He was supposed to be at the club, maybe be at Barca B, you understand what I mean, right? Adapt to the Barca system and maybe, get some game time in the Copa del Rey and, these competitions here and there until maybe a season after when he's like 19, 20, right? And then we're like, okay, cool. Let's see what you can do. But guess what? When Pedri went to Barca B, bro, he wasn't even there for a week before people were like, no. This kid, he can't stay at Barca B. This kid is too good for Barca B. You understand what I mean, right? He was brought straight into the first team. I think when it comes to this kid, that's the same idea. And obviously, right, I know a lot of people are going to be like, but Omar, like, even though if this kid has the potential, we need to go and get a striker, proven striker. I still agree. And I still believe that Barca will, if Lewandowski does leave, which is very likely, right, that we will go and get another striker, even if we sign this youngster. You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And, I was, obviously, there's been a lot of other links. We've seen defenders being linked, like Schlotterbeck, Bastoni, and all these guys. Now, I've been saying, and that's another video for another time, guys. You guys will be getting a video on that, right? But I did talk about something like that. And I did say, for me, when I look at the team, a defender is just as integral next season as a striker is. Because here's the thing, Valiant, right? If you look at our defense, it's our biggest weakness. We still score goals. Even if we don't have top world-class strikers at their prime years, we still get goals. The goals are still there. The problem is our defense has been giving us problems, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, listen, we need to go out, maybe if we can get, a 50 million, 40 million for a Schlotterbeck, I'll take it. You understand what I mean? Because then let's say
what's his market value right now?
It's not that much. It's around, I think, 40 million, 45, something like that.
Right
now, right? But we're in a World Cup year, and we all know World Cup, it increases tax on players if players perform well in the World Cup. So if he does go to the World Cup and cooks, then that could be a problem, because then Dortmund can just ask for whatever. I know he's on the last year of his deal in the summer, right? Yeah. But let's be real, right? If Dortmund are going to try to milk the hell out of the deal, because for what it's worth. But like I mentioned,
they are a selling club. They are a selling club. They know what
they are a selling club, but they're not going to sell cheap. Let's be real. They sell for very, very good amounts. So it is. What it is. But just to stay with this kid, right? I think it's a small deal, and obviously they've rejected 5 million. But I don't think they're going to go overboard, because, like I mentioned, he's still not proven. He's got potential, but he's not proven. And to be fair, I've not heard other European clubs being after this kid. Right, so I think that they might be holding out for 10 million potentially, right? And for a player who hasn't even made his professional debut for his club, to get 10 million for him, that's a steal. Just you take it and run.
Yeah, right? No, definitely.
Now this kid is not going to cost much, right? So we can bring him in, just sign him, bring him in, and prepare for the future. Because, like I mentioned, he is around the same age as players like Yamal. Because he's, to be fair, he's literally a year younger than Yamal. That's the crazy thing. He was born in New Year of 2008. So he's literally around the same age as players like Yamal. So he's got like the same amount of like years to still like make it where he can be in the team. Where like this could be the future duo of Barcelona in the future. If this kid reaches his potential, we could literally be seeing Yamal and this kid. You understand what I mean? Right? As a duo. You understand what I mean? At this club as the long-term attack, right? That's the thing. So for me, but let's talk about it. So that's the future duo. Now, you just mentioned, you talked about Harry Kane. Now, we know Alvarez is one that's being linked, but he is like the biggest one, right? Out of all of it. Harry Kane is one that's been thrown out there, but it's not concrete, but it's thrown out there. Grass is another one. Now, you just mentioned Harry Kane. Now, how do you think the club can be able to convince Harry Kane to come to the club in the summer for you?
Yeah, so I mean, this deal does remind me very much like the Lewandowski deal, where Lewandowski was at a better club than Barca at the time.
Yeah.
Bayern just beat us 3-0 in the Champions League, and it was that same year, right, where we convinced him. It would have to depend. Right now, it would depend on how good Bayern does. It's hard to know what players want to decide for. Like, there's some players who would say, okay, I'm moving because we won everything, and there's some player who's saying we didn't win anything, we didn't win the big one, right? We didn't win the Champions League. Barcelona looks like they're a striker away from winning the Champions League. So it depends on how we look, depends on how they look at the end of the season. That's going to take a big part of it. But like I said, he has one more year on his contract, but he does have that out. If he gets an offer, he can walk, and that's
I thought that was Spurs,
very.
but yeah, I got to. I thought Spurs were like the only ones who had like that first option if he wanted to
No.
return back to the Premier League. But okay, cool.
No.
That's fine.
And any offer that he gets, he can leave. And why I'm so adamant for why I'm so like we need to sign this guy is because, listen, bro, Madrid, don't put it past them. Like, if Vinicius leaves, they're gonna need a striker too. So we need to get on this like as soon as possible. And
I don't know if they will go for a Kane, to be honest, because Kane doesn't fit their like. Come on, let's be real. Madrid have profiles. They have profiles.
Whatever Harry Kane does, he can play for Madrid and he can play for Barcelona.
No, he can I know it makes the sense for Madrid to go and get him. The problem is Florentino Perez, as long as he has this tendency of, okay, well, Harry Kane is a good big name. Harry Kane is 33, so we can't. You know what I mean? He's going to look at his age. Like, we know when it comes to Perez, he's rejected players based on stupid stuff, right? Like, he rejected Ronaldinho for not being good looking enough. Like, that's the kind of person we're talking about here. You understand what I mean, right? They don't make the smart deals, so it is what it is. But look, yeah, I do agree with you. The Harry Kane thing is a good point. All right, at the end of the day, it makes sense. And look, obviously, I'm gonna be very real with you, Miguel, right? I kind of look at it and I'm like, well, it's just that we don't really have the money and we don't have the financial freedom to go out and get a player like Alvarez. Because if we did, Alvarez would be the first name out of my lips.
Me too. Me too.
But unfortunately, we can't. And I kind of look at them like, well, Harry Kane, if we get him, how much is he going to give us? Like 2 seasons max of maybe scoring, and maybe that's what we need. Maybe by then we might be able to be back in the one-on-one role.
Dude, in 2 years, more strikers will come up,
and also we will be in the one-on-one role, so we might be able to go and buy those strikers.
Exactly, that's what I mean. We're basically buying ourselves 2 years of somebody who can give you 30+ goals a season. And that's exactly what we need right now. We need a. This is why we can't be doing the experimenting bull crap, man. Like, dude, we need finishing. This team needs finishing. Lamine, he's not a great finisher. Rafinha, he scores a lot. He gives you GAs and stuff like that, assists or whatever. But he's not a great finisher. Like, we need somebody who can finish. For example, Lewandowski, he's a great finisher. Why did this offense work this whole time? Because we had a prolific striker. Right. We can't afford, like right now, Lewandowski is not the same that he used to be. We can't afford not to have a great finisher in this attack. Because what if we have, for example, Guirassy? People tell me that in the comments, Guirassy. Okay, every time I watch this guy, he's missing just as many chances as Ferran Torres is missing, and he's pathetic on the ball. He can't even hold up the ball, bro. Like, he's missing.
I don't even mention him. I don't even mention him,
dude. He's losing half the possessions when he needs to hold up the ball. So if I'm gonna have Guirassy, I might as well have 2 Ferran Torres, bro. Because Ferran Torres, he is going to miss a lot of chances, but he's going to hold up the ball. He's going to make great runs. He's going to be relentless defensively, counter pressing. And Guirassy, bro, he looks like entitled dude, just walking around the pitch. He was taken out yesterday because he kept losing the ball every time he got it. He couldn't hold up. And I think the manager said, "The hell with this guy." He was just walking off the pitch, complaining every 2 plays, and it was losing ball possessions. And I'm like, dude, the manager took him out in like the 70th minute because he was like, "I'm sick with this guy." I'm like, how can people even suggest? Like, I don't get it, man. I don't get the whole thing with Guirassy. But I just need Barca fans to know this. And anybody that you want to suggest, make sure that he's a great finisher, because this attack cannot afford not to have a great finisher.
Right. You know what? That's a good way of putting it, right? And I feel like that's a perfect way to close out. Basically, for now, we will definitely get into this whole like strikers thing, and the player that makes sense to bring in. But yeah, man, listen, guys, check. Let us know what you guys think about everything we said. What do you guys think about Barcelona going in for this youngster Hamza Abdul Karim, right? What do you guys think about him? Do you guys think about it's a smart deal to go and make, right, for the club's future? And also, guys, what do you guys think of what Miguel just said, right? As far as like strikers in next season, right? Do you guys think Kane is the answer, right, for now? Right? Let us know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Barca Volume. Link to his channel will be in the title, is in the collab, guys. Make sure you guys go and subscribe to my guy Barca Volume. But listen, guys, big up to every single one of you guys. Vescal Barca, Vescal Catalonia, and peace, you
Está
guys.
Barça.
Take care.